What's up, guys? And it's playoff time, and we're here. The Seattle Dragons going up against the Anaheim Ducks. We won 40 games, they won 41. That's not big of a difference. They were able to get 6 more games into overtime. Still, let's not care about the fact that they got 8 points over us. So let's sim game 1. I'm just going to sim away through all the periods on a quick sim. And we're down 2-0. That's clearly not what I wanted after the first. 3-1. We're still in it for a miracle. And we lose game 1 against the Ducks. That hurts. Whew. Okay, so game 2, still in Anaheim. And, it's crucial to get at least 1 win on the road. If you get 1 win in these first 2 games, you take away their home ice advantage. So hopefully we can do that. Let's go. Period number 1, and we're again trailing, allowing the first goal. That's clearly not what we want. Again, 3-1 after 2, exact same result as last game. Can we muster up a comeback in the third? Fuck, 4-1. That's even fucking worse than the last game. So I'm going to go ahead and swap goalies because Domingue ain't getting it done in the fucking playoffs. Hopefully Matt Murray can come in to save us here after being just flat out terrible this season. So come on, Matt. I'm putting my faith in you. If I'm not mistaken, he did play last game, even though I didn't put him as the starting goalie in the lineup. Okay, so he's here as the starting goaltender, and we got Matt Murray. If you watched last episode, my intention was to put Domingue in because Murray had a terrible season. We're down 2-0, but this is far from over. We still got 2 games at home. If we can win both these games in Seattle, it's all tied up and it becomes a 3-game series. Still is a bit of a long shot. Okay. Period number 1, can we not allow the first goal this time, please? Period number 2, we get on the board for the first time. We're being outshot 28-10. Ouch. I'm going to just sim this one a little slower. Get some shots, guys. Get the puck into their zone because we're being peppered. Okay, we actually pick up a shorthanded goal. They get it right back on the power play. There's some pretty intense moments, guys. They're absolutely dominating us on the shots here. 35-14. And fuck, they tie it up with 2 minutes left. Matt Murray's playing a hell of a game, though. 2 goals on basically 40 shots. Let's resume the simulation here in overtime. This has to be a crucial fucking game. We actually pick up the W. Max Domi scores on Josh Gibson. And thank you, Max. You keep our playoff hopes alive because coming back from 3-0 is a hell of a long shot. So let's move on here to the next game against the Ducks. And hopefully we can not get outshot by a million shots like last game. That was terrible. Okay. Period number 1. The Ducks score the first goal again. Fuck. Again, 3-1 after 2, and 4-1. We're down 3-1 in the series. I was actually hoping we could, stretch this out to 6 or 7 games. But it looks like we might just be playing our last one in Anaheim here. Fuck. I was definitely hoping for a little more out of our guys. Sim game here. Come on. Down 2-0 after the first. Clearly not looking good. 3-0 and 4-1. The Ducks didn't want to have anything to do with us. They weren't fucking around. They're thinking about the Stanley Cup, and we're thinking about the draft. Oh well. Time to go and play the golf tournament right now. So let's sim a few days here to see who wins the cup and look at the playoffs. Oh, why would that... Yeah, no, just best lines. Don't care really about Borowiecki. Come on, back. Alright, so the Leafs and the Lightning are at 3-2. Ottawa swept the Panthers, finishing number 1 in the East. If that happens, I will shit myself, and that's an understatement. Colorado is leading over the Blackhawks. Nashville leading over Dallas, and defending Stanley Cup champions, because yes, they won it on the last year, The San Jose Sharks are up 3-2, or down 3-2, and facing elimination against the Blues. They tied up 3-3. And can they complete the comeback? San Jose actually wins. Dallas comes back also. Detroit eliminates New York, and New York and Washington are still tied. And that's it. We got our playoff picture. The Leafs are out against the Lightning, and the Caps also come back to win it. And Colorado eliminates the freaking Chicago Blackhawks. Why did I press edit lines again? I do not care. We're eliminated. Freaking Christ. Let's advance a few times here. Ottawa's actually down. Come on, Sens. Anaheim is killing the Sharks as of right now. Oh, the Sharks showing some sign of life here. The Sens are down again. And they tie it right back up. Anaheim on the verge of eliminating the Sharks. Dallas also. And the Capitals. Ottawa takes the lead, surprisingly. Anaheim is moving on to the conference finals. So is Ottawa. It's Ottawa, Washington, Dallas, Anaheim. Dallas and Washington win game 1. They both go up 2 games. Ottawa's gonna get frickin' swept in the conference finals. You gotta be fucking with me. They do. They get swept. Are you shitting me right now? Fuck. Dallas and Washington. That was what I expected, to be honest, as the Stanley Cup Finals this year. I would expect the Caps and the frickin' oh, I thought we could like get a better simulation platform than this. But I was actually expecting Dallas to go far. And as an excuse, you know, I got that Tyler Seguin got injured. And I was also expecting the Capitals to go really far. I thought this might be Ovechkin's year. You know, he's never won the cup. And I was like, a great player like him has to win it at some point in his career. So is this the year going up against the Stars? Those are two of the best offensive teams in the NHL. No, Dallas wins the 2018 Stanley Cup. So that's it for the playoffs, guys. I'll meet you guys at the draft. Alrighty, guys, we're here at the draft, and we've got a pretty crappy pick. Since we did make the playoffs, we're drafting number 15. I'd like to move up here. I'd like to get a number 3 pick just to get one last solid prospect coming into our organization at some point when we're becoming a contender. To get that perfect balance of veterans and youngsters. So I'd give up my this year first rounder and probably a prospect. A not so great one. Rookie goaltenders. Nope. Nobody that's going to be interested in these guys. Church Run, whatever. Church, whatever. However you say it, is a pretty darn good prospect. So is Patrick and Strome. But we're really heavy at the center position, which kind of worries me. I wouldn't mind moving Dylan Strome or Patrick, but we got Johnson. We got so many of these guys up the middle. Cruz, Perlini, McInnes. I mean, yeah, Ryan McInnes definitely needs to be moved because we got just too many centers at this point. So McInnes and my 15th for Minnesota's 3rd overall pick seems about fair to me. They're going to reject this trade. Well, fine. That's about it. I'm not ready to give more. I'm just going to go and pick at number 15. So let's sim through our pick here. And we're going up number 15. Who's available? I haven't really been taking care of my scouts this year and, you know, guiding them. So all these guys are projected to go in the first round. At this point, there's no Canadian player left. Basically, at any point where I'm hesitating, I'm just going with a Canadian guy. So I still have some doubts about Matt Murray in front of the net. Do I go with Bacek here? I'm not sure about our goaltending, and our D does also need some help. I think it's easier to acquire a No, I mean, I have to go with the goalie. Bacek, I'm going to acquire him. I know Matt Murray's rated 87, but he just had a terrible year with us, and he might suffer a huge step back because of that. So let's move on to our next pick, which is in the second round here. And I think I'm going to go for a defenseman because I definitely need to add on D. We got Porter, Sim, whatever that guy's name is, Kneen. Yeah, whenever I'm hesitating, you go with the Canadian guy, and that's what I'm doing here. So let's sim to our next pick. I'm not sure we have one in the third round. We might have traded it. Come on, EA, make these sims a little faster. Exactly. Next pick is in the fourth round. And again, I think I'm going to go for a D here. We got Lausanne, Joseph, just a bunch of Canadian guys at this point. Tim's, Joseph, and Lausanne. Lausanne is an unknown, so I'm going to go and take a gamble on him. So past the fourth rounder, guys, I feel like the odds of getting something special or even an NHLer are pretty low, so I'm just going to sim the entire rest of the draft. So we got Bacek, Neen, Lausanne, Warkentine, Hardy, and Riva, whatever. However you pronounce these, I don't know, honestly. So let's go to our re-sign phase here, and I'm just going to try to re-sign practically everybody, but the major important thing to do this summer is trade either Patrick or Nick Strome. They're both 80 overalls, and Patrick is a little younger. So, obvious thing number one, we can't re-sign Henrik Sedin. Pretty unfortunate, but we can't. Okay, so out of the guys that we picked up, Moynihan I drafted last year, and I'm going to give him a contract this year. Girat also. I'm also going to give a contract to Poulin. And my first round of this year was not Hardy, not Workingkey, not Riva. It was actually a goaltender, that's why I can't see him right now. It was Bacek. I'm going to sign him also. He has med elite potential. So that's an absolute steal in my opinion that we got in front of net. I'm going to release Wedgwood. I feel like we don't really need him now that we got however you pronounce that name. And I'm going to actually re-sign Domingue for 1 year. Hopefully Bill Evainen becomes a backup next year and we can get rid of Domingue. UFAs. Svenenberg. Release. Eric Tangredi. I picked him up on waivers, release just for depth purposes. Lucas Sabiza or Luke Shen. I am going to keep Sabiza, but he wants 3 years. I'm not ready to give him that much. Chris Russell actually turns out to be an 85, which is great on D. We're definitely going to keep him. Brad Richardson, we're going to have to cut ties with him. We're too deep at the center. I don't want to keep Lupul. I just had to take on some salary. Matthew Lombardi actually does a great job as a depth player, but we're only going to give him 1 year. Oscar Lindbergh also probably had a pretty nice season, but I'm also only going to give him 1 year. Borowiecki, I am going to let him go. Emile Poirier, I definitely need to bring that guy back. I'd like to give him a little more term here. It looks like it's not affecting the salary too much, and he does have potential. So I'll give him 5 years, 2.5, which I do understand is risky, but the risk is pretty low. Mermis, I am going to release. Anthony D'Angelo. I'm going to try to sign him also to a 3-year contract, 1.5. Max Domi should be asking for a payday, and he is. Let's go 5 years, 5 mil, just to make it flat here. Zach Hyman, at this point, he's 26. I've got no choice but to release him. Lauren Dauphin, we're pretty deep at the center, but I'm not going to let Prospect walk away for nothing. We're going to sign him back. Now, the question is, do I want Sabiza or Shen? They're both 28. They're both 83. Shen is top 4. Sabiza is top 6. Let's actually look at the contracts, and let's see who's the cheapest. 3.7. 3. And if I bring it down to 1 year, he wants around the same amount. So I'll get Sabiza on a 1 year, $3 million deal. I have to let go Enric Sedin because I just got too many centers, and it would be totally useless to bring him back. Luke Shen, I also have to cut ties with, unfortunately. And those are all the guys I need to bring back. So let's go and see if they all accept their contracts here. I am going to try to sign a defenseman. That's why I let go Brandon Shen. So we got Lindbergh, Domi, Domingue, Sabiza, Bicek, D'Angelo, Dauphin, Poirier, Lombardi, Russell, Moynihan, Poulin, Girat. They're all back, so now just time to sim to free agency here. So we need to trade either Patrick or Strome. And, the thought I'm getting right now is I am going to trade Dylan Strome. They got the same rating, and Strome is just 2 years older, so he's got a bit of a smaller potential. So for that reason, I am going to try to get rid of Dylan Strome here. I am also going to try to bring in another prospect for him. I'd like to get probably a defenseman. Dylan Strome. So as you can see, him and Patrick are pretty similar. Elite potential, but one of them is 2 years younger. So I'm sorry, Dylan. I know you're a great prospect. We just have too many centers. I could also trade Nick Merkley. That just came up in my mind. Merkley has top 6 potential. I'm going to have to go and say goodbye to Dylan Strome at this point. Merkley's an 84, and we also, we want to grow, but we want to be a team that competes and plays in the playoffs. I'm going to try to trade him to the Eastern Conference so he doesn't come back and bite us in the ass. So let's look at what Ottawa's got on Diaz prospect-wise. Shabbat is actually a great prospect, and I'd love to add him onto my team. So let's see how this trade would rake up. I could actually add a pick here, or another prospect. I'm going to favorize prospects here over picks. Logan Brown, but he's also a center, and we clearly don't need those. Gabriel's on left wing. Sealoff's a D, but I think I could get something better on free agency. So I'll just go with a draft pick here. Probably a second rounder. If they refuse, I'll take next year's third. That trade is rejected. I don't know why they wouldn't want Dylan Strome. He's a hell of a player. So next year's third round pick should do it just fine. Trade is accepted. We get Thomas Chabot. I think he's a great prospect on D, which is something we're definitely looking for. So let's move on here to free agency. Who is the best out there? Marc-Edouard Vlasic, and 91 overall. That's pretty big. I mean, Riley Sheehan, that's also pretty nice. Unfortunately, I clearly don't need a center. Like I said, it would be useless to me to keep Sedin, so why would I go for Sheehan, whatever. Alexei Marchenko does fit what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a defenseman here. Let's take a look at the goalies, just, as a quick peek. If there's an immediate up, no, there's no guy that can be a starter as of right now. That's unfortunate. So let's look at the defenseman here. Option A is Vlasic. Now, it would be great to bring him on, but I'm going to have to give him about 7 years. He's 31. That brings him to 38. We're a growing team, and I don't want to, limit myself on the cap in the future with a contract like this, so I'm going to pass on Vlasic. John Carlson is requesting 3 years, which is a lot better and a lot less money. And I do need to pair a defenseman with Ekman Larson, who's capable to play at his level. And I don't have one right now. So I am going to go for John Carlson. 3 years, I'll offer him. At a 90 rating, I think he's worth that $7 million a year. And we kind of need to add some money to the cap, which is going to, make trades a little easier on us. Now, there's a few other prospects here that I could bring onto the team. Dinnan is probably the most interesting one here. He's only 20 years old, so that's what I'm going to do, some depth for the AHL club. Let's just take a quick look if there's anybody on the forward side that we could bring on. We got Grunstrom, 20 years old, 73 rating. I'm definitely going to offer this guy a contract. He has had a lot of teams offer him contracts, so we're going to be next in line. So that's about it for the prospects that I want to bring on. we basically offered 3 contracts. Carlson is really the guy that we're targeting. If we don't get him, we're gonna have to get a cheaper, less talented option on D. So let's advance a few days. Dinnan does accept our contract. We're definitely happy to bring him on. Grunstrom also. So those are all positive signs. Does John Carlson? John Carlson follows the movements and signs with us, which I think is just great. So basically right now we got 2 top defensemen. We got an offense that's going to be surging with youngsters. And we've got our goaltending situation, what I think is still a bit up in the air. Matt Murray is rated 87, but he was dreadful last year. Domingue outplayed him by a huge margin, but it needs to be clear, and I think it got a lot clearer in the playoffs. Domingue is a backup. He can't be a starter, so he's a great backup, but he's not the solution. We do draft Bischek, and we have Velanainen, who's going to be playing in the AHL again. These 2 guys can be long-term solutions, but not short-term. So we're hoping Matt Murray can, stand up this season and have a strong year. If Matt Murray has a strong year, I believe we make the playoffs and make it into the 2nd or even the 3rd round. Potentially, this is a hell of a long shot to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So that's it for this episode, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. We're going to be simming the full upcoming 2019 season.